This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
TaxAct knows filing your small business taxes can be a nightmare, like the kind where you're being chased by a giant W-2 form and you're running and running, but you can never reach the submit button. Or something like that. So, TaxAct offers Expert Assist with live tax experts to make filing taxes less scary. Now, you can just have pleasant dreams about being chased by other giant, non-threatening paperwork. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Happy Tuesday.
You did a Fisting Friday intro.
Well, I was going to do my favorite birthday song with Happy Tuesday, but
Happy Tuesday to you.
Do you think that we'll get in trouble?
No.
Okay.
We've been singing a lot.
Fair.
Actual
and also,
songs.
Do they know that I'm the biggest fan of that song? Like, nothing but respect.
Yeah.
Addicted to that song.
Recently found out it was about Martin Luther King.
His birthday song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know till recently.
It's a classic.
Yeah, I'm familiar. That's what I saw. A little kid's birthday party.
Yep,
where they were.
You tagged me in it, and you said you.
No,
you did.
This is a different one.
A different little white kid.
No, that's the thing.
Okay.
So they were multiracial. So they were black, white, and Mexican, and so they were singing
three different birthday songs.
And that kid looked. It was like a 1-year-old's birthday.
Oh, being like,
and that kid
hurry
was like,
the fuck up.
Yes, and people were like, y'all got to combine this. In the future.
Yeah,
y'all got to figure out
how
to combine this before next year.
You can ex-nay the white people Christmas, the white people birthday song. Do you get it?
I got it.
Congratulations. We have gnats in our separate abodes. Mm-hmm. It's gnat season, I guess. Gnat. Anyways, welcome to episode 130. Oh, okay, it's supposed to be 139, everyone. I wrote 138 again. That's on me. We're reading the results from episode 139
of
But Am I Wrong for the Who Was Wrong? And guess who is first?
You.
It's the one with blonde roots.
Oh, me?
Yep. Mostly got makeup in her hair.
All right. My hot take for this week was, Melissa asks, if TV rots your brain, why does Scandal teach me more about a filibuster than 8th grade civics? 3% said I was wrong. 97% said I was not wrong. Someone said, school is just about impressing people and passing tests. Anything in the real world that teaches you something important is valid and wonderful. My school experience was mostly memorize, test, forget, year after year. True.
And if you're me, throw and cheat. Which also taught me great life skills.
Everything can be looked up on the internet, so.
Yep.
Another person said, I learned about filibuster from Parks and Rec. I also love Parks and Rec. One of the greatest shows ever. And I don't understand how you haven't watched it.
I don't know. It gives me Ted Lasso vibes.
No, not at all. They're more snarky.
Okay.
Very snarky.
Okay. Maybe I can watch it.
Yeah.
Isn't Chris Pratt in that?
Yeah, but it's not like the main character.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch it. I think Mats has watched it.
Another person said, I was really upset that people call Booker's filibuster, quote unquote, attention seeking and not real action, when attention is the action we need right now. Someone doesn't speak for 25 hours straight just for personal validation. They do it because they know it will be discussed on media, major outlets, and bring attention to the unrest of citizens. I like to think people talking down his actions are actually just bots. They're not. Unfortunately.
No. Yeah, unfortunately, in general, how social media campaigns like that work is like they pay a couple bots and then real people see that and then they go, yeah, I agree with that. And then they say that and then they don't need to keep paying the bots because they've spread the message.
Someone else said, I've learned more about politics from YouTube and social media than I ever learned in school. But then again, I was educated in Oklahoma. Stillwater, Oklahoma, also, like we were doing 2 weeks ago, or last Friday, we were talking about our top
demos?
Cities that we're in. And Stillwater was actually very high up there as well, which is also close to Tulsa and close to where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
So that could also be a stop on our tour list.
Perfect.
We just go to Arkansas because we can get a space for free.
I love
Arkansas. And then invite people there too.
Well, this is the first time I've ever even hearing about Stillwater, Oklahoma, and shout out Stillwater.
Yeah.
I know Tulsa. That's it.
That's close.
Oklahoma.
All right. You're up, Megan.
Okay. We have hot take, hate cosmic brownies. Okay.
Did you open it up to
Yeah.
this?
Oh, no,
is a
different
cosmic
one.
Brownie.
No,
This is
different
just a
one.
Yellow cake.
I opened up to, wait,
I love
is that what I opened it to? And I thought it was a cosmic brownie? Yeah, no, I thought it was a cosmic brownie, but that my hot take is I hate cosmic brownies. I don't think a good brownie should have frosting.
An actual, like, cosmic brownie that's a little Debbie snack?
Oh, people used to just call brownies with frosting cosmic brownies.
No.
Oh, if
It
it's a
is
snack
brand-
cake, that's
It's
fine.
a little snack cake. And
Oh.
it is...
That's fine.
Actually, Maggie, you're just making me think of things.
Bitch,
I haven't had one of those in
Sorry.
church trips. They would always buy so many of them. And then we would have pantries full. We got them
that's
donated, I think.
From Kraft?
And it's a little Debbie.
Oh, okay.
And we would just have so many. And putting that in the microwave for 5 seconds.
Oh my God.
And they're
Yep.
so fudgy to the point like it sticks on the top of your...
Mm-hmm. The best we had was Fig Newtons.
Fig Newtons are good too. Those
Yeah,
got
but-
donated as well.
But that's just,
it's-
imagine like if that
not
was
the
your
best.
little Debbie, like
I
is
do
a Fig
love a Fig
Newton.
Newton. We had to not keep Fig Newtons in the house because I would eat a whole tray of them. by
Well,
myself
hey, incredibly
within
regular.
hours. Yeah.
Pooping.
Mhm. Mix that with some carrot cake.
Yeah. Oh, she's running through.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Megan says ghostwriters are for memoirs, not novels. Melissa, I had no idea how to spell memoir, and I've
Did I
written
not
one.
spell it correct?
No, you did.
Oh.
I don't know that I've ever seen it spelled out before. And like, I was like, what does that say? And then I realized like, oh my God, crazy. Cause it also looks like memories. And I know that that's why they're called like they're related word wise.
Yeah.
But anyways, 4% said I was wrong. 96% said I was not wrong. Apparently Tinks has now said that she like, oh my God, guys, of course I had like, I had someone to like bounce ideas off. I had like a collaborator and I was like, no, you had a ghostwriter. And you like legitimately went on the Jeff Lewis podcast and said, I did not have a ghostwriter when he asked. And then this part I didn't include. You offered to ghostwrite a novel for him, which is crazy. But The Cut has also picked this up and now they're talking about it.
Okay.
The reviews are in and people are not loving it. But support the actual author. Someone said, my career goal is to be an editor and I've applied for ghostwriting jobs but never gotten one. Oh, the whole job confuses me because I feel like even a memoir would work better with just an editor unless the person is dead, in which case, how can you possibly get the tone and voice right without knowing the person? The difference is that conversationally, some people like have a really strong voice when you talk to them and just like their vibe. But like in order to write a really good memoir, you have to be very self-aware about how other people also perceive you and your voice. Like
And you have to be a writer. Like you
Yeah.
need to be able to write. A
Most
lot of people
people-
can't write.
well, most people can't write how they present themselves or how they speak and how they talk. Like it's like polar opposites. If you like look at how you write an essay, it doesn't having a point of view and a voice when it's about your own life and everything like that. Like I in general, it's harder. A lot of people, you can just have like interviews and you ask questions, and even just structuring together stories about your own life in like chronological order. Like that's not like a memory recall skill that everybody has. Someone else said, if you need a ghostwriter for writing a novel, maybe you shouldn't be writing novels. I also agree with.
Yeah,
and also,
because you can be interviewed and then have somebody do your official novel for you. Like, I mean, your memoir for you. Well, this is a novel though, but like,
a novel. People now think she didn't write her memoir too now.
You can probably didn't, but you can give your idea to somebody and it can be, they still, even in book writing, they do story by. Like, you can still do that and then have somebody be the author of it.
It feels like her goal was to like sell it into a show. And like, yes, it is easier to sell something into a show from a book than just like a straight up pitch. But like, you can literally just pitch something. Like, it's just odd to me. And by odd, I mean fucking stupid. Someone else said, I blocked her so long ago, and the whole time that you guys were talking about her, I was like, who is Tinks? And then I finally remembered, and I'm sad that I did.
I only know who she is because of Meghan. That's the only way.
There are people who were in my life who like enjoyed her, but my connection to her is like not even through that. Like, I figured out who she was because gossiping. Like gossiping about like, oh my God, this person, whatever. And it's like, oh my God, now this person's with, it's all of that. So I will say, I definitely have, she's not had a fall from grace in my mind. This has been very aligned with everything I've seen. Someone else said, very fishy, tilapia and red herring fishy.
Yuck.
Someone else said, if you want your name on a book so bad, put it in the work and actually write something. Yeah. And the fact that she majored in writing or like English or whatever from Stanford is literally hilarious to me, because I'm like, you'd think. Someone else said the ghostwriter line in The Residence killed me, and now I can't remember which one that was. It was a joke about a ghostwriter.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I guess I gotta watch it again. Oh, twist my arm. Someone else said the lengths people will go to have a photo shoot with a book. That's a great point, because like, you're probably right. I think that is just what this was.
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow eyebrow and eyelid drooping and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Shopping is hard, right? But there's a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And she sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what I love and send back the rest. It's so easy. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
And then we've got writer number 1. Would they be wrong for hypothetically not telling the guy they're dating that there's an open position at their job? 27% said the writer is wrong. 73% said the writer is not wrong. Someone said, I get not wanting a messy situation at work, but in this economy, girl, not telling him would be cruel. Also, if he moves to your town and works in the same field, he'll find out anyways. Surely that would be even more awkward.
That latter part is a good point.
Yeah. Someone else says, I agree she doesn't need to bring it up, but I would also freak out if someone I just started dating wanted to work at my small office. I hope this guy has enough awareness. This would be so weird and it never comes up.
Yeah. I mean, the specific sect of what they do, I have a friend who does like a version of it, and I don't know if they are in the same version, but like there's not a lot of jobs in the sect that my friend is in.
Maybe since there might be like a neighboring small town, because when you say small town, I'm thinking the next town is like 5 minutes away. So
yeah, another small town.
Maybe he can work, has a little commute.
Yeah.
Someone else said, I think the fact that the writer is asking about this means they should tell the guy everything. Tell him you don't date coworkers. This is clearly a deal breaker, and tell him there's an opening, which is what made you think of this. There's not, though. This is hypothetical.
Yeah, I also think if it was me, no, I'm not thinking if it was me, but like I think there's also a chance of being like, oh, you don't date coworkers? Okay, I'm gonna get that job, and then we'll just not date.
Yeah,
and like that's just like
what the first person said.
Yeah, in this economy, I'm picking the job, not the date.
Yeah. I don't think they're wrong for not saying anything, but I do think saying they don't want the guy to apply before he even knows about it could come off in not the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else said, wait, I thought this was a straightforward, let me listen. Sometimes those votes will throw you off.
I mean, I was surprised.
Be firm in your beliefs. I said you was wrong in it. So
no, I know. I think both of us said that would be wrong. But I mean, no, I think we had our split caveats.
Yeah. Yeah, it was caveats with it.
Yeah, but for people being like, when they were like, in this economy, you have to. I was like, I'm valuing my comfort here because I wouldn't necessarily call this the collective good in this sense, because in general, like you don't have to move to a small town that has incredibly limited work options.
You don't know a situation. Could be moving close to family or something.
Oh, I thought that he was just wanted to move there.
We don't know.
Oh, okay. You're right. That makes more sense. Because I was like, why would if I lived a very niche job, I would not seek out a small town unless I got a job there. And that brought me there.
Wrong to tell the guy not to apply. That's kind of their choice. But not letting him know and just letting him find out by himself isn't wrong. But I don't know, man. Have a talk with the guy and be honest about your feelings. Fair. Someone else said, girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep.
It fits really well here.
Another person said, I don't think they'd be wrong if they just didn't mention it, but if they lied, that would be wrong given how terrible the job market is right now. Like, would the writer rather have them apply and possibly work with them or have them be unemployed? Fair. Another person said, hypothetically, how much do you like the guy? I think that's the first question the writer should hypothetically ask themselves. Like, really think about it.
That's maybe the best advice of all of these. Anytime you're having like a hypothetical, being like, Hypothetically, though, how much do I care? Mm-hmm. Because in the hypothetical version of myself, hypothetical me always cares a lot more than real life practical me has ever cared ever.
Yeah.
And I go, actually, let's rein that part in.
True. Someone else said, I can't tell when I'm voting anymore because it's like I've already voted when I open the story.
Mine started doing that too.
But I don't think the writer is wrong at all. It's not her place to try to help him get a job and not mentioning it / saying she won't give a reference is so okay. I even think if he ends up applying that it's okay to go to her manager / boss or whatever and say it would make her uncomfortable to work with him, especially since it's such a small company. Then it's up to the manager to either say, okay, his CV is good enough and I want to meet him, or take a step back and go for someone else who's qualified for the position. But maybe don't tell him you've done that. Haha. I don't know how legal that is.
No. I think that, like, if you have a company policy where you have to disclose if you know, like, if you're a part of the hiring process, like, if you're interviewing him, you will have to disclose, hey, I do know him. Mm-hmm. We are dating. But and then you will remove yourself from that process. But, like, just going on one off if you have not been asked.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. This is the person that was like, let me go listen again. They returned. Okay, I listened. I don't think the writer is wrong for not wanting to work together or telling him not to apply. They could probably tell him less harshly than that. But 1, small niche workplace equals no breathing room. You have a kerfuffle in the relationship and now you have to see them at work before you've made up. I'm sure the writer is a professional, but that could still be a bit much, especially with less than 15 people there. Number 2, they've been on 2 dates, so who knows if he's a good worker or if they'd work well together, either professionally or romantically. The former could sour the romantic relationship and the latter, her workspace.
Yep. I also think about the fact that, like, what job position could this be? Because, like, who's your boss? Is your boss a man? Are you, like, the only woman who works in your office? Are you going to be, like, suggesting they hire another man who then will end up replacing you? You know? Is it a male-dominated field?
Empower. Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
This episode is brought to you by Principles. Are there limits to the U.S. government's debt growth? What will happen if the debts are not curtailed? What should policymakers or investors do? Those are urgent questions that legendary investor and New York Times bestselling author Ray Dalio addresses in his new book, How Countries Go Broke, The Big Cycle. The book comes out in June and is available for pre-order today, wherever books are sold.
We have writer number 2. Are they wrong for calling the police for loud music? 33% said the writer is wrong. 67% said the writer is not wrong. And before we get into this, everybody, I want you to know that after we recorded this, I won't even see what the text I might not even be able to read the text I sent to you.
And you know what was happening? There was also things happening in my neighborhood, but I was trying to go to sleep and yours came in and I was like, this is too much for me to deal with because it was past my bedtime.
Like, legitimately, everyone, this on a much larger scale happened to the point where I initially, and I didn't even clock that it was the connection to, like, the podcast episode, but, like, I was texting our neighbors. We were, like, all texting about it, being like, hey, do you hear this? And essentially you know, we had a hunch about, not to profile, but based on history. And quite literally, if you look at the fucking citizen map of our street, there are 4 like police, like 911 call records on our street. They are all about him. They're all about this one fucking person. And there's also like, there's some like a couple blocks down, which like some of us are convinced is also, you know, was something he did. I like, it was not in the normal spot where these people are, and I couldn't see them. And normally I can see this person, like, if we're going to call it in. So I was literally like walking around the fucking perimeter, like all of our different windows to be like, someone should call, because also someone is screaming that someone needs to call 911. And I'm like, I need to figure out where they are, if this is the right person. I'm pretty sure this is who it is, but you know, I don't want to do it wrong. Then expeditiously, it's like 11:30 p.m. and it's sirens, it's fire trucks, it is cop cars, it is ambulances, it is all of that. And I don't know if it's an active investigation, but I do want to let everybody know that I do think I found some evidence. But like, it is objectively fucking crazy that this happened the same day. And I have been called in our neighborhood group chat the Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
And I am like, I'm sharing some of the things in like my close neighbors, like the ones that we're like really good friends with. And then there's one with like a bigger group of neighbors, which we weren't initially invited to. And I was like kind of hurt. And then our other neighbor friend was like, hey, I'm just going to add you to this. And I was like, why wasn't we added in the first place? But you guys, it's crazy. And if you're like, Megan, didn't you have like crazy neighbors at your last place? Yes. Is this a crazy neighbor? No.
A visitor.
Yeah. An unpaid fucking visitor. So, anyways, yeah, let's...
A visitor to the neighborhood, not a visitor to you.
No. But I would also like to say, sometimes when you judge a book by its cover,
that's right,
you can find out where they're from and what high school they went to.
You know the end of the story. You know the backstory.
Yeah, because I can look at someone and I can go, I see in your eyes some things I'm familiar with, and you can find it out, and you do. And this is also a great time if you're on my close friend's Instagram story. Okay.
Oh, so it was only on. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not posting.
I thought you did post it, and I was like, this is bold.
Anyways, okay. Someone said, not wrong for the action of calling on the principal of loud music, but yes, wrong if you can't tell them cross streets from where it's coming from.
I just wanted to reiterate, and the person said that, asked, like, would they be wrong, like, to encourage other people to call in too? That's just going to clog up the police line, and it's not going to be helpful.
Yeah. Not sure what the police can/want to do, but definitely not wrong for calling. I do the same if someone messed with my holy bedtime. I struggle enough with falling asleep without some idiot neighbor blasting music. The way that, like, you can't pay LAPD to do much, but, like, you could not pay LAPD to care about a noise ordinance. Like, could not fucking care less.
When I had my situation, they did come out.
For noise?
Yeah.
Just noise?
Mm-hmm. Because it was noise. Nothing happened until they set the garage on fire.
Well, I was going to say, I do wonder if maybe...
because they couldn't physically get in, because then it would be trespassing because they didn't have a warrant. But they did come.
Quickly?
Yeah.
Oh. Slow day.
That was numerous days.
Oh, I was going to say, it might be a repeat call.
But so they came the first time, and then they kept coming.
Yeah.
But, like, they can't, unless, like, they were physically out, they couldn't.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything.
Which more people should know. You don't have to come out of your house.
Yeah.
For the police.
And also, for this person that wrote in, if you have curfew times in your city, if it's before the curfew time, which 9:30 typically is before the curfew time, it's not a problem.
No.
You can't do anything about that.
No, because it's legal. Someone else said, there was a business near me that was originally a rental room for parties that turned into a weekend strip club. I also don't call the cops, but I did for this. The club would stay open until 6 a.m. and people would park outside my house playing music from their cars until the sun came up. The club got shut down, but it took an entire summer and only closed because the building was condemned. It doesn't sound like... I'm going to tell you right now that doesn't sound like a place I want to strip. Till 6 a.m. in a condemned building? Sounds dangerous. Sounds like I need a tetanus shot.
The parking lot did sound fun, though.
Hey, as someone who grew up in the burbs, I love a good parking lot.
I do too.
Yeah, you can't knock it. Two girls from the suburb, we love a parking lot. What can we say? You city folk won't understand. Shit goes down in the parking lot.
It does.
Okay, someone else said, Ryder's not wrong, but I would follow all of Meghan and Melissa's advice on gathering evidence. Similar to me, who's taking photos of evidence that I see, as well as the cross streets where it's located. It's not like the cops are doing anything helpful, so might as well make them work for you. If they do. Not saying that they're wrong, but definitely my first thought would be to investigate myself. If I see an issue, I'm turning into Nikita Druski?
I don't know who that is.
And gathering all the evidence because I know they won't do shit. Okay, no. They're doing a play on Nancy Drew. I think. Drewski. And I'm understanding because I'm also collecting evidence. Mott's was like, should we go pick it up? Because it happened. I found it and I was like, no, we're not touching it.
How many TV shows do y'all watch about
Melissa,
detectives?
The way that was the exact thing I said to him. I said, all of this work that we have put in watching all of these things, and you're about to contaminate what? Why would you do that? Why? And also, like, it's just out there. I'm not the only one there's no way I'm the only one who's seen it. But I'm going on a walk with my neighbor later and I'm going to point it out. Okay. I don't think it's wrong to call the police if it's the sound of shaking your home. I just think you need to have a location to send them for it to make sense to actually make the call. They'd be wrong if they didn't have helpful info when calling. And that's it.
Experience a progressive lens engineered with AI from Essilor. Powered by individual measurements of your visual behavior. A lens personalized to you by an Essilor expert. Discover Verilux XR Track and enjoy instantly sharp vision in motion and seamless transitions from near to far. Find your local Essilor expert today at Essilor.com.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
All right. The my wrong of the week was this idiot police chief, Robert Farley. 98% said he was wrong. 2% said he was not wrong. Someone said he needs to take his humiliation kink out of the workplace. How is this even happening in a workplace with other adults? None of this makes sense, and it's terrifying that this man is in charge of, quote unquote, protecting a community. Very true.
Then we have my wrong of the week, Kenneth Georgia. 99% said Kenneth is wrong. 1% said Kenneth is not wrong. Kenneth looks exactly like I would picture a man named Kenneth who's strangling bitches on a fucking Virgin cruise. Why do men always have to fight? Use your words, sweetie. Yeah. Like, just, and I have to say that, like, obviously it's not about his wife, like the woman. Like, I don't think she holds, like, responsibility for him strangling someone. But, like, also, don't be on a cruise if you don't want to see any dogs out. Like, it's just like
puppies like to be out. Like,
yeah,
that's the prime time for puppies to be barking.
Without a doubt. And then also, like, if you know your husband gets insanely fucking like violent. And like, if he has a visceral reaction to toes like that, maybe don't point out that there's some like naked piggies, like, or maybe like give the guy a warning of being like, you need to put your shoes on because my husband's gonna kill you. Like, and I don't mean hypothetically, like, it's just like her like cavalierness of being like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I'm like, you think? But also like, she's just being so casual about like the result of this that I'm like, I want to snap. I feel like we're a little brainwashed. So that's it.
All right. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Please keep listening. Tune in tomorrow to your favorite episode. You're just going to pick a random show in the feed, and that will be your designated episode to listen for the day, and send it to us and let us know which one you were dealt. Thursday, you're going to get a brand new episode of Don't Blame Me. It's going to be great. Friday will be another episode of Fisting Friday. Have a great weekend. And then on Monday, we'll be back for But Am I Wrong? And we start this shit over again, because we will see you
next Tuesday. Bye. Also, Apple says that we post daily. And by their standards, then we post daily.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Apple. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Have you ever heard about the 19th century French actress with so many lovers that they formed a lovers' union? Or what about the Aboriginal Australian bandit who faked going into labor just to escape the police, which she did escape from them. It was a great plan. How about the French queen who murdered her rival with poison gloves? I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. Every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know, and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts. And if you're curious, the people I was talking about before, the Australian woman is named Marianne Bugg, and the French actress was named Rochelle, no last name, just Rochelle. And the queen who poisoned her rival is Catherine de Medici. I have episodes about all of them.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.